Welcome to another episode of Addiction Uncovered. I'm Jill, your host, and I'm joined by Corey today. Corey's a licensed alcohol and drug counselor and provisionally licensed clinical social worker. He's been working in the field for about 8 years now, mostly in residential programs with the state correctional system. The last year he's been working in inpatient psychiatry. He's also a loving husband and proud father of 8 daughters, as well as a grandfather to an amazing baby boy. He's an active member of AA and 12 years of sobriety, which is amazing. His faith is a key factor in his recovery, and he's proud to say he recently received a pardon for all his past criminal activities. Congratulations on that and your sobriety. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we can start off just telling us a little bit about where your addiction started.
I guess it was in junior high, and I was hanging out with some guys, and we had said that we were going to go babysit one of the guys' sister's kids on the weekend. But really what would happen is that we get there, and there'd be no kids, but there'd be a couple bottles of alcohol and a couple cases of beer. And then we would just drink until we blacked out. And you learn really fast not to be the first one to pass out because we're guys, so we like draw all over each other's face or do other rude things. So I think that probably really didn't help me out much because I just thought that's how you drink. Like, drink as much as you can for as long as you can until you fall asleep. And that's like how my drinking went pretty much my entire drinking career. I didn't very ever often just drink a few. And then I was drinking, and then time went along. I started taking LSD because I thought weed would kill you for some reason, but hallucinogenics wouldn't. So I started taking LSD.
That was the logic, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Smoking it, just there's something about smoking it, like, freaked me out. But it didn't take long, and then I was smoking weed and then cigarettes, and, I mean, just making a whole bunch of bad decisions based off of bad information. And that just continued all the way through high school, all the way through my 20s, and most of my 30s, like half my 30s. So, I mean, I don't know if there's one necessarily thing that pinpointed it other than the people who smoked weed and drank were really easy to hang out with because all you had to do was smoke weed and drink.
You had something in common.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you didn't do it, you could join by just doing it. Like, literally, all you had to do was, it was like the easy crowd to hang with because you didn't have to be good at sports. You didn't have to be smart. You just literally had to cause trouble and do drugs and alcohol. Mm-hmm. So it was super easy.
Yeah, some camaraderie there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it started really quickly and heavy right away off the bat.
Yeah.
And we hear a lot of stories where it starts out gradually and then over time it kind of builds. But junior high school is typically what we've been hearing, right? Mm-hmm. And so for you, though, it was right at the start, pretty heavy, would you say?
I would say so, yeah. And, I mean, I didn't think I was addicted then. I mean, maybe at that time I could have just quit and, like, been okay. But who wants to quit when you're having fun? I mean, that's
right. If drugs or alcohol didn't feel good or give us some kind of benefit in the moment, we wouldn't do it. If it made us sick, if we didn't, all of those things. But there's definitely that immediate reward that goes off in our brains, which makes it hard to stop.
I agree. And that's why whenever I talk to my kids or other young people about drugs and alcohol, I don't lie to them and tell them it's going to be absolutely horrible and horrible things are going to happen. I was like, that's if you're lucky. If you're lucky the first time you get high or drunk, something really crappy happens, and then you don't ever want to do it again. There's a strong possibility you're going to love it, and then you're going to be like looking at everybody like, why are you lying to me? Because this is actually pretty fun. But that will eventually wear off if you continue to drink and use in a unresponsible manner, I guess. I mean, some people can just drink a little bit here and there and be just fine, but...
What do you think, too, about kids? In their minds, they're invincible. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that's ever going to happen. I had a recent conversation with my daughter who said, I think you just tell me these things to scare me. I don't think it's real. And you just want to say, look at the data, look at the numbers, like listen to the stories. It's definitely something. But an adolescent brain just says, this won't happen to me.
I'm too smart. Mm-hmm. I'm different. Mm-hmm. I heard that from my kids. That might have happened for you, but it's not going to be like that for me. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Right. And so you and your wife are both in recovery, right? And so tell us how, I want to hear about how you got sober, of course, but tell us, early in your recovery, the two of you met and fell in love, and perfect love story, right?
Right.
But we always talk about the risk of having relationships early in recovery. Talk about what that was like for you and how it's been successful for you.
Okay. I mean, I've been sober for a little bit longer than her. I honestly can't remember right now. But I was super involved. I was chairing multiple meetings. I was sponsoring guys. I was calling my sponsor. I was doing all sorts of stuff. And then we met, and she was in recovery, but she was planning on going to prison for like 3 to 7 years. So there was like, when we first started hanging out, we'll call it, there was no like idea of some relationship down the road. It was just hanging out and, you know, satisfying mutual desires until she goes to prison. And we started, she started hanging out at my house more, got rid of her apartment the closer it got to sentencing date. And we're spending a lot of time together. And I really think I kind of won her over. Well, she says because I had tattoos and I wore a tie. But I was also like,
that's what did it for her, huh?
Yep. And I was bringing food to her house and doing stuff like that. But then eventually she got rid of everything in her apartment. And she's staying at my house because it's getting closer. We're doing everything we can with her kids, like making sure she has a bunch of time spent with her kids, making memories before she has to go to prison. And I come home one day, and this is a woman that used to like try and convince people that there was no God. Right. And then fast forward to when I'm talking with her, I come home and she's like sitting in bed, and she's got a Bible in one side and a big book on the other side. And like at that moment, like I knew like this is just going to be something that I'm going to do. And I was getting closer, and I was like, I'm going to wait for you. And she's like, shut up. Don't be stupid. And like, because literally that's exactly what she told me. And then we go to court the day of sentencing, and we're sitting in there, and they gave her probation. And I was like, right on.
No. Now what?
Yeah, now what?
Oh, now we actually have this relationship. Thrilled. Yeah.
But the reason why it works so much for us, I mean, it doesn't really work a lot for other people, but we were both really solid in our program and working a program and not working each other's program. Like, you do what you do for recovery, I do what I do for recovery. Do we talk a little bit of crap every once in a while? Yes. But we were pretty solid in our programs and not working each other's program. But our whole entire relationship was built off of God and honesty and recovery. I mean, that's just what it was built off of. And we were both in a place in our life where, you know, we had emotional stability, which I think played a huge part in it. Like, I mean, and it was just, we got married. We knew each other for a total of maybe 6 months or a little bit less before we got married.
And how long have you been married now?
Over 10 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So against all odds.
Yeah. So there's definitely risk to that because there's a lot of instability in early recovery, right? And so starting and maintaining relationships can be really tricky.
Yeah.
But you guys figured out a way to make it work because for you in that moment, recovery was key. Mm-hmm. It was one of the biggest keys within that, within your space.
Yeah. And we both had the boundaries. Like if you know, we're not really going to, I mean, drinking at that time for either one of us, drinking or using drugs was no longer a solution. That wasn't like our answer to everything. Because most people grow up and everybody's telling them drugs and alcohol are your problem, you know, whatever. Like but technically that's not the problem. Drugs and alcohol aren't the problem. The problem is I don't know how to live life. And my solution to that is drugs and alcohol because it helps me live life. But then eventually the solution stops working. But, I mean, we're just super supportive. I mean, we've bickered a few times here and there about things, but I think over the course of 10 years, I mean, I don't even think there's like 5 times where we were like literally like that upset. I mean, she might have been, but I wasn't.
She just might have told you about it.
Yeah, she might have told me. But I don't know. It was just different. Like, it's definitely not recommended, but I had over a year. I think she was coming up on a year. Okay. So we kind of skipped over that middle part. I just was curious about how that worked for the two of you. So you had this long history of using, and how long did that go on? For me, I started drinking and stuff in junior high, so I was probably like 13, 14, and then I've been sober for 12 years. I'm 48, so like 36.
Math, okay.
Yeah. So I was about 36. when I got sober. And I got sober. I had been off of hard drugs for quite some time. And then, so December 2012, December 31st, 2012, I got sober. So in like May of 2011, April of 2011, I was married to my ex-wife at the time, and it was our anniversary. And I was like, we should get high on our anniversary. And we did, and it went great. Like, nothing bad happened. I didn't know where to get it again. Fast forward to the 2012, April. Let's do it again. Nothing bad happened, but this time I knew where to get it again. And then in May on my birthday, I was like, we should do that again. And I got too much that time, and then it was just off to the races. I was back on methamphetamines. I filed for divorce against my ex-wife. It was a very intense divorce process, I'll put it that way. The best thing that came out of that was an ideal parenting plan, where, because normally the kids moving into the house, the mom's house, dad's house, the kids kept the house and the parents took turns moving in and out. Like, I was there for 3 days 1 week and then 4 days 1 week. So we just like alternated the parents moving in and out of the house, so the kids kept their base and their stability.
Yeah, less just disruption for them.
Yeah. And then, so divorce is settled. It's like, I'm still using drugs. Divorce isn't settled. I'm still using drugs. I think it's probably like late August, early September. My dad's wife worked for my divorce lawyer. That's why he was my divorce lawyer. And she calls me and she says that your lawyer agreed for you to take a hair follicle test. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate, because you can't really fake that. So I quit meth cold turkey that day. Like, and I was back to using IV. Like, I just quit done that day. I didn't even finish what I had. I just got rid of it all.
What was that like?
Terrible.
Tell me
but
about
I had alcohol to help me through that. Like, I already drank a lot, but now I'm like really drinking a lot. I don't think from that day I went and got my cooler out. Like, there was always a cooler of a variety of alcoholic beverages in the back of my vehicle. I didn't drink while I was at work somehow. As soon as I got off work, or if it was the whole weekend when we're partying and I didn't have my kids and I wasn't at my kids' house, I was drinking a lot. Get into a couple different relationships, in another relationship that I had gotten into during the crazy time. It's funny when you like sober up and you're like, oh gosh, that's probably not the best idea for me.
What was I thinking?
Right. And then I got into another relationship, and that relationship is kind of key just for the fact that it, after I got sober, this individual was trying to stay sober. But so I got sober, we're going through, I get a DUI in like middle October, still don't quit drinking. But I'm starting to realize, like, I can't do this anymore, right? I can't do this anymore. There's a couple times where I'm like, I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to drink today. But then just like clockwork, I pull into the liquor store and then go home and drink. Then fast forward to, it's like December 30th. And one more night, like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. Then I get off work and I pull into the liquor store about 2 blocks from where I was staying. And I just got like a little tiny bottle and a 6-pack of Bud Light Lime, because it's just a little bottle of Fireball and a 6-pack of Bud Light Lime. It's like, you can't even get drunk off of Bud Light Lime. That was like what I was thinking in my head. And then I go home, and then like 35 minutes later, I'm back at the liquor store, and I get more. A little bit more alcohol. I didn't buy any beer, but I definitely bought another bigger bottle. And then that's gone. And I'm back at the liquor store. And this is like one more night of me trying to control and enjoy my drinking, which is practically impossible for an alcoholic like me. Like, I can either control my drinking, which has no enjoyment, or I can enjoy my drinking, which has no control. So, but I'm trying to find this illusion that I'm going to be able to control and enjoy my drinking. I get more alcohol, and I tell that guy in there, I was like, if I come back, call the cops, because I'm literally driving right now, and like I'm getting like a really big bottle of alcohol. I don't really remember a whole lot of that night. The bits and pieces I do remember were not great. I said a bunch of really, really, really horrible things. And I woke up, I was in my closet. Like, I woke up in the closet. And I'm like, And I had to be to work. So I went to work, and I didn't really say a whole lot that day. It's New Year's Eve. And instead of going out and drinking, I went to AA. And when I walked in the AA clubhouse, it's New Year's Eve, so there was a ton of people there at the meeting that I went to. I think it was like the 8 o'clock meeting. I was dark, which doesn't mean much at that time of year. It could be like 5:30. I don't know.
Exactly.
So it was either the 5:15 or the 8 o'clock meeting. I walk in there, and they're like, "We've been praying for you." And I'm like, "I don't even know you people." I'm like, "How in the..." Like, I'm thinking I'm hiding it very well, like, but I'm literally running a very, very busy restaurant in a small town. So, like, everybody knows me. Like, I can't go anywhere without running into somebody that I know from the restaurant. And I'm like, I just like laugh it off. Like, yeah, no big deal. Like, I'm terrified, but no big deal. And I started looking around. I was like, oh yeah, I got a couple employees that come here. They were on drug court and they were sober. So they must've been telling how wonderful I was at the meetings, which is probably not true.
Right. That's what we're going to think that.
Yeah, we're just going to roll with that. But that day I just never looked back. I was going to meetings. I looked around. I'm a restaurant manager, so I need a SMART goal, 90 meetings in 90 days. It's a very smart goalie. Mm-hmm. And I'm going for about a month, and I'm literally just going to meetings. I'm sharing a little bit. I was going to the speaker meeting. It's been about 30 days sober. I go to the speaker meeting, and my sponsor, who's my sponsor now, Matt, is sharing his story, and he like dropped the F word probably like 25 times, which made me feel very warm inside. Because I cussed a lot, and everybody else is telling me that I need to stop cussing and stop doing all this stuff. And I'm just like...
Sometimes there's no other words.
No, sometimes there's not.
Right.
But he said his home group was a clubhouse here in Fremont, Monday through Friday, nooner. So I go to work on Monday, and a couple of the employees that are in recovery were like, didn't that guy say his home group is on Monday through Friday at the nooner? They're like, we got the restaurant. You should go to that meeting because you need a sponsor.
Wow.
So I go there, and... mind you, like nobody that entire 30 days before that ever offered to read the big book with me, which is like basically the program of action of Alcoholics Anonymous. I go to the Miller Club. It's right down the street here somewhere. And he's not in there. So like I go and I like hide myself in the back corner, which wasn't very smart. And then he comes in the back door. If you go in the back door of the Miller Club at the nooner, like you were going to get hugged and your hand shook. That's just the way it is. So he comes in and he's like shaking everybody's hands and he's like hugging everybody. I'm just like terrified. My hands are sweating. It's like I'm about to go ask a girl out on a date. Because like, what if he tells me no? Like, I'm terrified of rejection. But, and he like, it's almost like you smell the fear. He like literally goes right through and he like walks right to me. He's like, hey, I'm Matt. And I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, oh gosh, what did I do? I was like, well, you spoke at the chapter 5 last night. He's like, oh, and then he proceeds to ask me some questions that I was not prepared for, like, what's your plan? And I said 90 meetings in 90 days, and he just laughed at me and said, you know what 90 meetings in 90 days will do for me? I'm like, well, he's like, give me another resentment. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, well, you got a big book? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, where is it? He's like, in the truck. I was like, he's like, well, that's a good freaking place for it.
He's calling you out right away.
Yeah. I'm like, damn it. He's like, well, I'm going to be making coffee. If you want to read it, I'm going to be over here in this room. They call it the Half Measures room. And I was like, yes. So I went and got my book. I met him over there. Dude, I'm like, I wasn't like a nice, like, white collar felon. Like, I was like a legitimate, like, people, like, you clutch your purse or like go to their side of the street kind of guy for most of my life. And like now I'm like getting ready to read a book with a dude that I don't even know. Right. Super
like,
weird.
What is this life? What's going on?
But I was so tired of the way my life was that I was willing to do anything. And so we sat down in that room, and that day I learned more about why I drank the way I drank than I had my entire life. I finally realized that it's not because I'm a piece of crap. It's not because I don't have any, morals like people say, or it's not because I want to do it intentionally. It's because I suffer from a twofold disease. It's like they say the reason why chronic alcoholics like myself are powerless over alcohol is they suffer from a twofold disease: is the obsession of the mind and the phenomenon of craving, like the allergy of the body. And the obsession of the mind is the thing that I'm just going to have Bud Light Lime in a little bottle. That's not a big deal. It'll be fine. You're just going to have that and you're going to just chill. It'll be a great night. Right. But then I drink that Bud Light Lime in the little bottle. That's the deal I made with myself. And then all of a sudden there's this, like, they call it the phenomenon of craving, because if you're a chronic alcoholic, you're allergic to alcohol. And the manifestation of that allergy is the phenomenon of craving. And that ensures that I'm going to drink more than I want to almost always. And if for some reason I don't drink as much as I want to, I'm probably going to be pretty irritated about it, right? So those two things in collision are why I'm powerless over alcohol, or why I was powerless over alcohol. So the main problem centers in your mind. And once you get rid of your alcoholic mind, because if you don't put any alcohol or drugs in your system, then the allergy doesn't have a chance. Right? But the allergy never goes away. Like I could drink now and it's going to be the same thing. I'm probably going to be worse off in a shorter period of time than I was even before. But you'll hear not good information in meetings like, oh, I'm allergic to alcohol. I break out in handcuffs or I wake up in different states. And that's like bad information that gets alcoholics killed.
Why do you say that?
Because it's not true. Like that's not what the book of Alcoholics Anonymous is saying. Right? That's not what the program of action is saying. It's not saying you're allergic to alcohol and you break out in handcuffs. Like, no, you are drinking to overcome this craving that you don't even understand. Like, because like I literally only wanted to have a couple, but that's not happening, and I can't figure out why.
Never. Right. Yeah.
And I finally was just like that day, like I was like, oh my gosh, like everything makes sense now. And then we started meeting every week on Wednesday at the 8:00 meeting. Get there a little bit early. We'd read the book. Some days it would just be me and him going through the book line by line, page by page sometimes, then backing up the next day that we read. And sometimes just be me and him. Sometimes there'd be like 6 other guys in there. And I worked all the steps, started sponsoring guys, and like my life has like literally been, I would never imagine that my life would be where I am now. Like, it's just crazy. Like it was me and him, and now I have like this sober family around me that's like, because I sponsor like 5 guys, and a couple of them guys sponsor guys, and then one of that guy sponsor guys. Like if you think about it, the recovery model from Alcoholics Anonymous, like everybody basically is a direct descendant from Bill Silk, with Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson, because they worked with other people who then worked with other people who then worked with other people until today. Like it literally started with those 2. It's like super weird to think about.
Well, what an awesome way to be able to give back too in your recovery, not only in the work that you do as a counselor, but also as a sponsor.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's the only way I know that I get to keep what I have, because it says you have to let go of your old ideas. Right. And whenever I thought of spirituality, I thought like church, God, religion, Buddha, whatever, right? But in the way I was educated about it, and it reinforced in the book, is I got to get out of myself and into something else, right? And it says, if an alcoholic fails to perfect and enlarge his spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others. So that just reinforces, like, I have to do other things for people. Like, because 99% of the time I'm making something way bigger than needs to be up here. And if I stay there, then I'm going to spin out of control. But if I just, like I always teach people, like even now in therapy and stuff like that, just call somebody. Like if you're spinning out, just call somebody else and completely attend to them. Ask them everything about their life, how they're doing, and everything else like that. And by the time you hang up the phone, you're not even really going to remember why you were upset, because you got out of your own problems that were probably like made up or way smaller than you're making them. And you don't know. And then I always tell them, I was like, and if you don't remember why you were upset, don't try and remember.
Right. Don't go back and try to find it again.
You won. Like you won. But it's weird because a lot of people don't like to call people because, like, I don't want to be a burden, or I don't want to bother them, or they're too busy. Well,
you talked about how it was awkward because you had never sat with another man and read a book. Like that was very different, or asking for help, right? So it's like getting over that threshold and actually doing it can be hard.
Yeah. But I mean, it works. I don't know. I mean, the only way it just works because, like I said, I'm getting out of my own way and helping somebody else. So
it's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you do now, because I know you and your wife have your own agency now and help people get to this point of recovery too. Tell us about how you're helping those folks.
Well, I have a passion to work with the justice-involved people. I really, really liked working in the prison. I try and help them. I typically don't share a whole lot about my story unless it's going to be like appropriate or like I think it might help at the moment. And even then, it's like a very mild version. Or I'm like, actually, I do share a lot of my story, but I pose it as, well, I worked with this guy who did this, right? And I think a lot of the times, just by the way I can present things, especially when it comes to addiction, it's very obvious that I'm not speaking from synthetic knowledge, like out of a book, and that I just learned it all. It's from actual experience. So I think that goes a long way with people. And then I just like to, with addiction therapy, you got to be kind of like pretty blunt sometimes and just calling people on their crap, because you're working with a population who are like master manipulators. Like they literally didn't survive the streets and their alcoholism and their addiction by not knowing how to manipulate situations and get what they want. Like, so sometimes you just got to be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. How do you stay patient with that?
Was it unconditional positive regard? Like I have to accept this person for where they're at in life's journey and understand that they're probably doing the best they can. Even if I know that they're not doing the best they can, I have to give them that benefit of the doubt, because I truly, truly don't know. Right.
Yeah. Would you say that your sponsor did that for you?
No.
That's kind of what helped to.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, somebody must have given you that
completely
space, right?
Different in like if I'm going to sponsor a guy, I tell him right away, like, look, I know you know I'm a therapist, but I am not your therapist.
Oh, I see. So totally different role.
Oh yeah.
That's how you approach it.
I am in like, so in our treatment center, a little bit nicer, more therapeutic, but I'm still calling crap. If I'm sponsoring you in AA, you're going to get a completely different person. Am I going to use some of my skills to like maybe present things in a different way or be able to pick out what you're doing? Yes. But other than that, like it's two distinctly different things. Like I cannot substitute my work for my recovery. And I tell them that just like at the work at the hospital where I work, I'm working with people that are like in a very unstable and fragile state because they're in the inpatient psychiatric unit, an acute stabilization unit. So sometimes I can be like a little direct, but a lot of times it's more like, okay, like what can we do? But
I think that's a good, when you think about working with people in recovery or sponsoring people, part of that growth is people hearing the truth, even though it's really difficult, figuring out a way to do it like respectfully at the same time. But you're talking like as a sponsor, it's important, and it has been for you as a sponsee, for someone to say, calling you out on stuff like, nope, this is your old pattern of behavior. This isn't helpful for you. We're in a different space now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's that. And it's like my sponsor told me we started doing the fifth step or the fourth step. And it's a week by week thing. And I was given an assignment. I had to just write out the book and give the instructions. And he said, if you don't show up next week with your homework done, don't even bother. Find somebody else to sponsor you. And I showed up every week with my stuff done. Have I given a little more leeway than that to people? Yes. Did they get a whole rash of sarcasm and like, yes, they did. But that's what I needed, right? Like we don't really pull punches. Like we're here to love you and we love you and we're here to support you. But like we're not going to put up with things. Like there's some absolutes in our sponsorship family. If you cheat on your significant other, married or not married, you're fired. And we will not work with you. Because there's absolutely no excuse. Man up, have an uncomfortable conversation, and break up with the person. Plain and simple. If you cheat, you're gone. Other than that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like, rob a bank, I mean, anything. But you cannot cheat.
It's a powerful one.
Yeah. I mean, that's just something that, cause that's a behavior that you can completely control. Right? I mean, you probably control not robbing a bank too, but that's just like, that was just showing the severity. But,
right.
Yeah, unconditional positive regard was the first... literally one of the first sentences I ever read when I went to go get my associate's degree. And I was in Miss Cindy's class, and I opened up that book, and I'm reading, and I'm like, yeah, right. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's like impossible. Yeah. Never going to happen. And then like 8 years later, I'm like living by the principle. Super weird.
Wow. Well, one last question for you. So someone out there watching this is maybe in the midst of addiction and feeling pretty lost and frustrated and scared. What would you tell them?
As scary as it is to like reach out to somebody else and ask for help, whether it's because of the stigma or you think you're going to lose your kids or you might lose your job, whatever it is, if you continue down the path you're on, you're already going to lose all those things. Right? And as scary as it is to think about doing that, you're scared right now. Like it's not going to get any extra scary. Like scared is scared, right? And just reach out for help, and you got to be honest. Like, and not with me or you or anybody else in your life. You have to be honest with yourself. Like, you have to be finally willing to, like, just do some reflection and, and just ask yourself, am I really ready? Because sometimes people really struggle going in and out, and they're like, almost like it kind of hurts them a little bit. But I mean, if you're out there and you're in the midst of addiction or alcoholism, I mean, just go to a couple meetings. Just check it out. Sit in a corner and don't say anything to anybody. Like, it's an hour that you didn't use or drink. Right. And maybe somebody will say something that you're like, okay, maybe I'm in the right place. Maybe I am at home, right? Especially speaker meetings. Go to a speaker meeting because you don't have to talk. And you listen to somebody tell you what it was like for them, what happened, and what it's like now. So awesome. That's like my best advice.
Yeah, it's great advice. Well, thank you, Corey, for joining us and sharing your story, and for all the work that you're doing with all your clients too, in the correction system, but also in your own practice. It's really powerful and it's important work, and we appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.